All right.
My
Take it
name
away.
is Dave Turner. I'm with Previous Engineering. We installed your fire sprinkler system. It's a very basic system. You have the backflow preventer in the garage, in the mechanical room down there, along with the one riser for the parking garage. Every floor has its own sprinkler system. So if you break a head in the parking garage, you can close and isolate that valve in the garage. It won't affect the rest of the building or anything else. Just like if you have a sprinkler head here on the first floor that goes off, you'll come directly over to this riser, especially assuming it's an accident. Now all this being said, you should know, have you guys gone through the fire alarm training yet?
Yes.
Okay, so before you ever touch anything on the sprinkler system, you need to, call the monitoring company and then take the horns and whistles off of, put it on test, right? So once you've called the fire alarm company and all that kind of stuff, you need to work on the system. Very basic. I don't know how many, if you've ever dealt with sprinkler systems and stuff like that before, but this is your control valve, okay? Every valve that we have on a sprinkler system, it has to be what they call indicating, right? So it needs to tell you whether it's open or closed. So if you look at the front over here, you have this little indicator, this yellow guy. Okay, so when the valve is open, it's in line with the pipe, right? Because what it is this is what they call a butterfly valve. So there's actually a body inside there that opens and closes to shut the water off, keep it from flowing. So that will be in line with this indicator here. So right now, that guy is open, allows water to pass by. As you turn the handle and close it, the indicator will start to close as well as the valve inside, right? So this is a check valve. What this does is it allows you to drain the system on any floor and refill it without draining the water off of the other systems up above, right? We have the flow switch. This is what signals the fire department to come. And all it is a little plastic paddle that sticks inside the pipe. And right now it's sitting down like this because there's no water. So all the water in our sprinkler systems is stagnant, right? It never moves unless you drain it or open it. You're not using it for anything else. A sprinkler head goes off, and then water from your supply, this is our standpipe here, flows right up past that flow switch. And then as the water flows by, it lifts that paddle up. Now that paddle has to stay up for anywhere between, code calls for 30 and 90 seconds, right? That way, especially since you don't have a fire pump here, it's all off the city, you have surges and things like that as the pressure changes for the underground. What we don't want is to give you a false alarm, right? We don't want the paddle to go up and trigger an alarm. That's why they have a delay of at least 30 seconds, right? That way you can put a little bit of water into it, and as soon as the paddle sets back down, it won't call an alarm. So it has to be a steady flow. And I think most of these are set at about 45 seconds. So what will happen is we can test it. This is our test and drain. Okay, this is how you drain the system. This is how you test it, all the alarms and all that kind of stuff. So we want to wait until he comes back.
We'll just keep rolling because we got you on recording.
So basically, we have our test and drain. This allows us to test the flow switch without ever setting the sprinkler head off, right? And you'll turn it 90 degrees so that it points, the top part points to the test, and you'll let that flow for, 45 seconds until that flow switch goes off, and it'll send an alarm to the panel, and you'll get horns and strobes and the whole 9 yards, right? So
is that notifying the fire department?
If you don't
call them and tell them you're
exactly,
gonna test it.
right. So that's why I said before you touch anything, call them and tell them you're going to test it. So, and then this just goes to a drain which feeds down into the parking garage downstairs, and it runs out of the stair into one of the traps just under the floor. So there's really not much to them. Every quarter. So this is our standard pressure right here. Right now you're at about 60, almost 60 pounds, about 58 pounds. That's standard. That's standard, right? Every floor you go up, that pressure is going to drop just a little bit. You get up to the roof, I think it's at like 25 or 30 pounds, something like that. Just because, with elevation, you'll lose pressure. So technically every quarter you should be coming by just to verify all the valves are open. You don't see any leaks. You check the pressure, make sure that you still have adequate pressure. So that should be every quarter, so 4 times a year. Every year, your sprinkler system, you're required to have an annual inspection. Okay, there's certain things there that you can do yourself as long as you log it and all that kind of stuff. And if you go to the NFPA websites, and I think I have some in my truck, so I'll try and go grab some for you just so you see what's entailed. Like there's certain things that you can do. The other thing that you want to do once a quarter is you should exercise your valves, right? So you should open and close these guys, just to make sure that everything stays lubricated. If they sit around for too long, they start getting harder and harder to open and close, and eventually they get to a point where they may not close all the way, and then when you're trying to work on the system, it's going to let water continually pass by, things like that. So you really should manipulate these valves.
Currently, we have to hire somebody to do it, or we can do it.
You can do it. You can open and close the valve yourself. You don't need to have a C16 license for that.
You need to make that phone call.
So you need, well, and here's the thing. If you open and close these, you're not going to get an alarm. These are just a trouble on the panel, so there's supervisory. So it's not like you'll evacuate the building, but the alarm company will call you and say, hey, your valves are opening and closing, we're getting tampers or troubles, and you want to go investigate. But you should always, before you do it, hey, put the system on test for an hour and go and manipulate the valves open and closed, and just to exercise them, once a quarter when you're doing all the other visual inspections. Once a year you should come in and, like I said, I'll get you the paperwork for those, but you probably should have a C16 contractor come in and do that for you. And as well as once every 5 years. Once every 5 years, you'll have to have someone come in, and at that point they'll have to look above ceilings if there's any access doors or anything like that. They'll have to be able to check those, so they'll have to go into the units. And even on the annual inspections, technically they'll have to go into the units, check to make sure all the trim is on the sprinkler heads, things like that. Look at the valve and making sure any exposed pipe doesn't have any leaks or anything like that. They need to pull the check valve faceplates off, look inside there, things of that nature.
Like right now it's a brand new system, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Right now we have only a 5 years sticker over there.
Correct.
Do we have to call to get an annual?
Yeah, you should call. I mean, you can always call us. Our number's on here. It's over here if you ever need an annual. You should probably have a C16 contractor. There are a lot of things that you can do on there. Like I said, I have the paperwork I think in my truck. I'll go grab you a copy of those so you can see exactly what's required on your quarterlies, annuals, and 5 years. And I'll leave a copy of that with you. And you can go to the website and print those up. And
So, as far as you know, this is what you work with. Even though it's brand new, we have to do it annually, no matter what.
Right. Yeah. From this point, I mean, you don't have to do it until next year. So what we've done is we've marked the sticker out, right? So this is June of 2017. We did a fire sprinkler, and it should tell you over here whether see it's got the 5-year marked out on there. So by June of 2018, you'll have to have it again, just for an annual inspection, and they'll put a separate sticker. Don't let them cover this guy up.
Okay.
But you should have an annual, just have it checked.
This year we have to do the annual.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, June of this year you'll have to do an annual, and then it won't be until 2022 where you have to get another 5-year sticker.
Okay.
Right.
That's where the C16 comes in.
Right. Well, even on the annual, I think there are some things. I got to take a look at the report because you guys don't have a fire pump or anything like that, so you may be able to do all that stuff yourselves. We'll go through the report real quick and take a look at that.
I think it's the best to get a quarterly. Usually I got a company, they do the quarterly, annual, and 5 years.
Right. They can do it.
More safe.
Right.
Like if we do it internal.
Right.
Better.
It is. It's better to have another company come in and do it and stuff like that. So
that way we'll have not to,
Yep.
everything work fine, safe.
right.
Yeah.
Never have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So other than that, there in this stair going all the way up, there's a riser that controls each level that it's on, right?
Yes, sir, yeah.
They don't have all this on each floor.
You'll have all this on each one.
On each
Exact setup each floor.
Exact setup. Yeah, it won't be any different. I mean, the configuration on some of them, they're going to be a little bit more compact. We have a little bit more room on this floor. Some of the other floors are a little shorter, but yeah, Same exact setup.
One of my questions, like if by accident somebody broke a sprinkler head, we don't need to wait for the fire department to come and shut the water off, right? We can do ourselves.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of damage. Now,
Okay.
that being said, technically speaking, the fire department does not want you to go and turn that system off. The biggest failure on systems, sprinkler systems, the reason they don't put out fires is because somebody left the valve closed, right? So unless you know for sure that it's a broken head, you technically shouldn't come in and turn the valve off, right?
Okay.
But you know for sure that somebody broke a head, it was, in their kitchen and they accidentally knocked it off, and absolutely, yeah, go turn that valve off,
We have
close
to
it.
wait for the fire department. Yeah.
So the biggest thing with that,
Mhm.
your first instinct is to close this valve, right?
Then
Hit the drain.
Yeah.
Hit the drain first, let it start flowing out of there, take a little bit of pressure off of that, and then come over here and close this guy. And, on these drains here, this one's a little bit high, but you can turn it 90 degrees, right? And that hits your test. That's just a ½ inch orifice, okay? In an emergency like that, and you're having issues, you gotta pull this little lever back.
Oh,
And then you can turn it 180 degrees and hit the full drain,
okay.
okay? This floor's a little harder to get to, the other floor's much lower, much
So
easier
right
to
now
get to.
it's closed.
Right now it's closed, and they should always stay that way unless you're draining the system. Like I said, if you open this and don't close this, you'll get a fire alarm, and that's what evacuates the
Yeah.
building, right? You close this guy, it's not gonna evacuate the building, you'll get a call from your monitoring company saying, hey, someone's tampering with your valves. This guy here goes off the,
Okay.
bells and whistles, okay?
That's called, what's that called?
This is what they call a water flow switch.
Mm,
This is a control valve, and this is a check valve. So and all this is just has a clapper that opens and closes it. Right now it's closed, right? It's got the pressure holding down on it. You start flowing water and you relieve a little bit of pressure here. So if the pressures aren't equal, then this valve will open up and allow water to come back through. The nice part about these is you can drain all the pressure off of this guy, and it'll keep the pressure on the sprinkler system itself. Okay? So other than that, down in the basement we have a couple of isolation valves, because you have a standpipe here, right? This standpipe has all the hose valves and it's got the sprinkler risers on it. If you go into the stairwell in the far corner, that's just a standpipe, that just has hose valves. But if you ever had to work on hose valves on that floor for any reason, you can isolate that standpipe down in the garage, drain that, and still have a water supply to your sprinklers and all that stuff. So there's 2 isolation valves in the parking garage area, as well as the sprinkler riser for the parking garage and the backflow preventer. Okay, the backflow preventer down there, we can go take a look, but that one's going to require you to get that inspected once a year as well, right? You'll have to call a company out,
Yeah.
get that certified. Now we also offer all of those services, so we are a complete, plumbing and fire sprinkler service company. So if you ever need any kind of work on the plumbing side or the fire sprinkler, any of those, we certify backflows, all that kind of stuff. You're more than welcome to give us a call. You probably already have companies set up, but just to let you know, we do
Maybe
have
over
that.
here, Michael, in 2 to 7, we can get a previous engineer to do the quarterly, annual, and 5 years.
Yeah, give us a call. We can
2 to 7.
work the price out if you guys need, and get you whatever you'd like. Okay.
The 2 to 7, only, I think they want to find the same thing. Over there, only we have the sticker 5 years. 2 to 7. It's brand new system. So
Yeah.
maybe later we can get a proposal from previous for do a quarterly, annual, and then when we need a 5 years.
Yeah, if we could make up one of those and,
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
send it.
I'll talk to my office and get something together for you guys. Are we sending it straight to you, or you want us to go through BVI? Or?
No, to
Straight to your
Diana.
office. Okay, Diana. Okay.
Oh, you can, let me see her business.
Or to
I should give you guys. You guys have any issues or anything like that? Feel free to give us a call. This is my number. Just give you a few extra cards. Okay. If you ever need anything.
Yes, please. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, you can send me the proposal for that one.
No problem.
And then 2 to 7, you need to see the system over there to get a proposal, or yes?
No, we put the system in. We can work.
Oh, you put that one
We
too
did?
over there?
Yeah. Oh wait, which one?
227 Bay.
Oh, 227, no, we didn't do that one, but, yeah, we need to take a walk through there to
Walk,
look at it.
walk through and then
Yeah.
we can get a proposal with that one too.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, I'll have my office get in touch with you.
Okay.
And, so I don't know, do you wanna go down to the mechanical room just to take a look at that one?
Yep, let's head down there.